To share some wonderful music with you, the King Teen. King, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Great to have you here. We warned you like to just jump in and play a song. Whatever you'd like to play, we'd love to hear.
All right, I'm going to play my autobiography. It's the name of my EP, which I have here, called Us Ugly Guys Got Style. Going on those dates with all those other guys. I know that you're excited from the sparkle in your eyes, but you'll be disappointed, and you'll learn after a while. Them pretty boys are all the same, but us ugly guys got style. It's dinner with Alberto, and it's cocktails with Pierre. Their shirts are filled with muscles, and their heads are filled with air. Any kind of contest, man, I'd beat them by a mile. Them pretty boys are all the same, but us ugly guys got style. We got style in the evening when we pick you up at home. We got style in the morning when we text to say hello. Those dimwits you go out with, they don't ever make you smile. Them pretty boys are all the same, but us ugly guys got style. Come on, ugly boys. One day you'll be with a pretty boy. It'll all be clear. You'll be on it wondering who'll take me away from here. Well, baby, you've heard the evidence. Here's the verdict in this trial. Them pretty boys are all the same, but us ugly guys got style. Them pretty boys are all the same, but us ugly guys got style. Us ugly guys got style.
Song for my people, the King Teen, live here in the studio, and that guitar is hot. Does that DI box have a volume control on it?
It does. It does not.
Borrowed, but
your guitar does.
One. I'll take a little volume out and we'll try that. Should we just try it here?
Give me a little strum there. Take it down a little bit more.
Can't believe someone wants to hear less of my guitar playing.
It's not that we want to hear less, is that we want the proper level of gain going out to the mix.
Sure thing.
Everyone will be happier.
So that song was from the King Teen's latest release, Us Ugly Guys. And when did you record that?
Just recently. It's pretty new. It came out May 30th. I recorded it just before that with James Phillips in Durham, who played drums on it. And also on that song, I know I'm supposed to stay on the mic, I took the liberty of breaking this out of the frame in the other office. Eric Sommer, who I assume has played here before with you guys, he played guitar on it with me.
Excellent.
So Eric Sommer, go see him. He's around all the time. And he played guitar on that song and one other. And I think.
And how many tracks on it?
There is 7 tracks on the CD and 8 if you get it at Bandcamp at thekingteen.bandcamp.com. There's a bonus track.
There you go.
So.
Are we going to get to hear the bonus track tonight?
Well, the bonus track is an alternate take of one of the songs that's on it. So in a way, you will. But you will not be hearing the... well, I'll explain it when we get there. I'll tell you about the bonus track.
We don't need any spoiler alerts.
No spoilers. No spoilers on this one.
Well, we are here to hear your music. So will you play us another song?
I will. This song has a little story to it. This is a song about time travel, which does not exist. And
What?
I'm traveling through time right now.
I'm actually from
Where
1840.
did you come from?
Slowly moving forwards like all the rest of us.
Yeah, that's a good point. But you can't travel, you can't jump through time. I mean,
Fair.
if you can, let me know. But as far as I know, time travel does not exist.
I will let you know last week.
And yet, this is a true story. To my baby when she became my wife, that I would have and hold and love her for the rest of our lives. That was an easy promise to make, It came right from the heart. But another one I made was a lie right from the start. She knows I love time travel in movies and books. I wanna slip into the future, wanna see how it looks. If there's a portal to the past, I wanna step into it. And she made me say if I had the chance, I wouldn't do it. True story. Well, that was another easy promise. I mean, what are the odds that we'll ever move through time? We aren't gods, but it's eating at my conscience how I made this phony vow. As if they ever built a time machine, I'm getting in somehow. I wanna hear what English sounded like in 1534. I go to 2100, see if there are people anymore. I go to Valley Forge, I'll teach George to insulate the fort. I'll be a California Yankee in Cleopatra's court. Here I come, Cleo. I'll say don't compromise on slavery as you write the Constitution. I'll be the first to warn the people about the dangers of pollution. I'll tackle that guy who shot John Lennon before he gets to the Dakota. I'll buy stock in Polaroid, Apple and Toyota. I'll get that bag. I'll bet on the Jets and the Mets in '69. Buster Douglas over Mike Tyson. I'll save the dodo bird, make him quit killing all the bison. I'll get to Marilyn Monroe in time to get her stomach pumped. I'll strangle baby Hitler. I'll sterilize Fred Trump. True story. Now, baby. Now, baby. Now, baby, I feel terrible about lying, but you gotta understand, I'd have to try to solve the problems of this old world if I can. But you shouldn't worry, baby. You know you can trust me. They aren't building time machines in this economy. These are the stuck in this timeline. Line to my baby. I'm traveler's blue. True story.
King Ting live here in the studio, and I can't get this vision out of my head of the King Teen strangling a baby, and it's got this little Hitler mustache.
I'm going to ask King. First of all, I wanted to ask about your songwriting, but before that, I want to ask about your name. And you said that your name is King.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask about your singer-songwriter moniker. What is King Teen? Is that your name or what?
The King Teen is my name. I have a stage name that I use for, going to the grocery store and paying my bills and stuff like
Got
that.
it.
But,
Okay.
My real name is the King Teen.
Okay. So, well, that clears that up. Thank you.
Yes.
I was like, dude, what's his ID say? So tell us about how you began as a singer-songwriter.
I began as a musician, as a guy in bands. But I had some friends in high school. I did not start playing music till I was about 18, maybe 17. I had some friends in high school who would, make tapes. They would, sort of bedroom tapes, and they would actually, this was like 400 years ago, they would go to the coin-operated racquetball court by the freeway and turn on all the lights, set up all the gear, wait for the buzzing lights to go off, and then record in the dark. And I went with them one time, and I was like, this is so cool. And I made up a song for them to record. It was called Minnie Needs Gas. It was about a friend of ours, a girl who we went to school with, who we drove past the gas station, and she was wearing this black and white polka dot mini skirt, and she looked like Minnie Mouse, and that led to this song called Minnie Needs Gas. And I said to my friend, "What's the? I want to join a band. What's the easiest instrument?" And he said, "Bass guitar." And So I bought a bass guitar, and he showed me, what the frets are about, and I just went home and played the records and taught myself that. And then I was in punk bands in the 80s. I switched to guitar when I was about 30, and I played in like punk rockabilly and rockabilly bands in the 90s. And then I kind of put that aside, and I wasted a lot of time doing silly things like raising kids and working jobs, and after when the pandemic happened and I was in shutdown like everybody else, my sourdough bread or knitting or whatever I said, I'm going to teach myself to finger pick guitar. I never learned how to do that.
Cool.
And so I just spent hours we had this kind of basement. I was living in Berkeley, California, and totally failed at it. But when I would get frustrated, I would just play. And I found myself getting better at the acoustic guitar. And I said, I think I could do like a solo acoustic thing without my guitar playing being some kind of performance art piece. It just actually sounds more or less like a guitar.
You mean actually be good at it?
Good would be too strong.
Fair.
But yeah, I started playing some open mics, and it kind of went over well, and I felt good about it. And then my wife and I moved here 2 years ago to Durham, and I've been playing open mics and gigs and stuff since then. It's been a lot of fun.
It's interesting. I have loads of friends who are guitar players, and more than one of them have said that trying something different is what has kind of helped them get off of this plateau they felt they were on with their guitar playing. Coming up with a weird tuning, or taking a string off of the guitar, or trying to finger pick. It forces your brain to think differently, and suddenly all of your guitar playing just gets better.
Yes, and it stops you just like doing the things you already know how to do, which...
you're kind of in that rut or on that plateau,
Mm-hmm. So that's how I became... I don't call myself a singer-songwriter. I call myself a singer-song-maker-upper. I don't really write them down. Eventually, at some point, I write down the lyrics. But I feel like songwriter is a level of craftsmanship that I don't really feel like I have. I picture Hoagie Carmichael at the piano with a pencil behind his ear and music paper and like figuring out chords, and that's not me. I just start singing to myself in the car or the shower or something, and record it on the Notes app and try to teach myself the chords like I'm learning a cover. That's pretty much how.
With these songs on the release, Us Ugly Guys, were they written all recently or over a period of time?
They were pretty much all recent, except the one I sang first called Us Ugly Guys. I wrote that many, many years ago, and used to sing that with the Smoke Jumpers, the punk rockabilly band I was in the 90s. And that one was just a phrase that came out of my mouth spontaneously, and as soon as I said it, I worked at a newspaper, and a photographer had come in. Her name was Katie Raditz, great photographer, and she had just shot a rock and roll show at the Oakland Coliseum Arena, and she was kind of raving about this singer and taking his photos, and I was, me being a jerk, I was like, yeah, I don't really like that guy. And she said, yeah, he's so pretty though. And I said, well, Katie, them pretty boys are all the same, but us ugly guys got style. I don't know where it came from. And I shoot her away immediately because I was like, I knew that was a song. And so on the clock, I apologize to the Hearst Corporation. Well, I don't actually apologize to the Hearst Corporation because, wage theft by corporations is the greatest form of crime in our country, greatest form of burglary. But yes, 15 minutes of Hearst Corporation time went into making up that song about 30 years ago.
I look forward to seeing what else you stole from them. Play us another song.
Probably some staplers. I don't know. I definitely stole a lot of copies, as we all did back in those days. Xerox machine copies.
That's why they had them in the office, right? So you can make flyers for your band.
I made flyers.
Took that kazoo too.
Yes, made a lot of flyers. Yes. Statute of limitations has run out on that one, Will Hearst. Shall I play another song?
Yes.
I think you should.
This is a North Carolina song. There's, an old bandmate of mine, Wayne Haught, lives in Asheville, North Carolina. He's a very fine singer-songwriter. You can find him on Spotify, Haught. He and his, at the time, fiance, now wife, were living in Asheville when the hurricane hit last year. Mm-hmm. And I called him to see how he was doing. He said, well, we're sitting in our house with no water and no power, and we're waiting to hear if we should move out of town, if we should leave. And I said, well, is there anything I can do for you? And he said, yeah, you can write me a song. And he gave me a title.
That's a good call.
It was a good call because, like, asking me to do something useful would have really been a waste of time. So he gave me the song title, and I wrote the song, and this is it. Peanut and Salty went out for a walk. It's been a little while since they've had a chance to talk. The roads are down, the power's out, there's been a hurricane. They thought it'd be a chance to get acquainted again. Peanut said to Salty, it was you who brought the wind. Flash flooding happened, you were so thin-skinned. Salty said to Peanut, you threw some lightning flashes. Maybe on this walk we'll see something in the ashes. In the quiet after the storm, when the clouds have finally lifted and the day is calm and warm, we'll be sweeping out the kitchen, patching up the roof, sorting through the wreckage, trying to find a little truth. Salty said to Peanut, remember when we met? You hadn't learned to take your little salt for granted yet. Peanut said to Salty, you know I think you hungry son. The only thing I take for granted is that you're my only one. Salty thought about that, said, yeah, I know, you're right. That's just something that I say every time we have a fight. Are we fighting now, said Peanut. Should I get my boxing gloves? Salty said, let's hit each other with hurricane force love. In the quiet after the storm, when the warnings have all been lifted and the day is sweet and warm, we'll be sitting in our kitchen or maybe lying up there on the roof, thinking about the wreckage, smiling at all this truth. And that's the ballad of Peanut and Salty. Thank you.
King Teen, live here in the studio, reminding me of a wonderful story I heard at Noir at the Bar just a few days ago.
And you're going to leave
You
us
can't
hanging?
repeat any of that on the air.
I'm not going to repeat any of it on the air, but next time you guys have a chance to visit Noir at the Bar, which happens about once a quarter at Yonder across the street, do it.
King, you said you'd moved from California about 2 years ago, I think you said.
Yeah.
And the music scene there versus here. Tell us about that.
It's a little hard to answer because I wasn't really in the music scene over the last 20 years or so there.
Oh, okay.
But,
So
it seems I think it's a little more lively in terms of live music as opposed to DJs. I think the Bay Area is probably maybe a couple of years ahead of the Triangle in that transition to like fewer and fewer live venues and more DJs. I'm starting to hear about that and seeing that happen here. But yeah, there's sort of like I've been playing a lot of open mics. The open mic scene is much bigger and livelier here than anything I saw there. That's pretty much all I know.
And gigs coming up for you?
I have one that's on the books August 23rd at the Cave in Chapel Hill.
Great venue.
I love that place. I just played there the other night, and playing there again next month. I'm going to be opening for MG, who is a Cave legend. They are a bartender there as well as a great musician, and they have a new album coming out, and it's their album release show. So if you know the Cave, you probably know MG, even if you don't realize it, and you should come out to their record release show on August 23rd.
It's going to be a good show.
I believe so.
Bob, Rebecca Newton was stepped in and was affiliated with the Cave for a while. Is she still, or since she moved over to the Arts Center? She's very active. She bounces around.
I know she was involved in the Cave was potentially going out of business,
Yeah.
and she stepped in to help, and so she may have a silent partner interest in it still. I don't know, but
great.
She is our local impresario, and we love Rebecca Newton.
Well, so get over there to the Cave again. King, the date?
August 23rd.
Great, coming up soon. But you don't need to go to the Cave because we have King Teen here for another half an hour plus 4 minutes.
We have a little bit more headroom in here too.
Oh, yes, you can jump here.
Yes, that is true.
How about one more song before we get to the top of the hour and have to do some business?
Okay, this is the song that has the alternate version on the EP, Us Ugly Guys Got Style, available on Bandcamp at thekingteen.bandcamp.com or at my shows in CD form. This is a song about AI.
Heard of it?
Not Allen Iverson, but artificial intelligence.
That you wrote it, that AI did not write.
No AI was used in the creation of this song. Although AI inspired it, because when it first came out, before I don't use it now because environmental is terrible. I didn't know that. So when ChatGPT came out, I asked it to make up a song. I fed it as much information as I could to rewrite one of my songs, just to see what it would do, or maybe some popular songs like a Rolling Stones song or something. And what came back was just horrible on the scale. What you're thinking when I say horrible doesn't begin to get to it. And so that inspired this song. It's called The Human Touch. I wanted a chatbot to write a song, so I went to the chatbot to write a song. I said, hey chatbot, write a song about a guy using the chatbot to write a song. The chatbot wrote a song about the guy using the chatbot to write a song. It really sucked. This isn't it. This one's no better, but at least it has the human touch. The human touch. It ain't much, but it's human. I had a problem, had to call on the phone. I heard that robot voice, my heart sank like a stone. It said, please listen carefully. Our selections have changed recently. Press 1 for this, press 2 for that. Press 3 if you're a vendor. Press 4 if you're a cat. I screamed and I shouted and I smashed my phone. Now I still got my problems and I'm sitting here all alone with the human touch. The human touch. It ain't much. A 1, 2, 3, but it's human. have to give you a content warning here. This is a violence warning. Something terrible is going to happen to a venture capitalist in this verse. But I want to assure you that no billionaires were harmed in the making of this song. I don't think he was a billionaire. I had an idea to build a better chatbot, so I called a VC. I said, I got a better chatbot. He said, let's take a meeting about your better chatbot. So I went on down the Sand Hill Road in Menlo Park, California. That's Silicon Valley. I walked into the office of the billionaire. He said, let's talk about the idea that brought you here. So I wrapped my hands around his throat, and as I squeezed real tight, I whispered to him about the human touch. The human touch. It ain't much, but it's human.
So I have to tell you, King, that song, I am a writer. I'm a poet and singer-songwriter, and am, of course, part of that community. And one of the conversations that has been ongoing for about a year now is a lot of us have been concerned that our work has been used to train AI.
Yes.
And so we went to ChatGPT. I was at a writer's retreat over the few weeks ago, and I went in and I said, will you please write a poem in the style of Kim Lane, poet? And that's all I did, and it did. And it also explained how it was written in the style of me. We all did this. And what ChatGPT did, like several of us did this, and we weren't horrified by the output. Like it wasn't terrible because we said, okay, please write it in this style. But it was a tell that our work has been used. Like ChatGPT knew who we were, and that was, I think, the most alarming bit of it. It was creepy. So listening to you and also getting your hands around his neck, thank you very much.
Yeah. So when I play that song live and I make that announcement about no billionaires were harmed in the making of the song, I usually get booed.
Harm 3 of them. You know, my favorite part of that song was the menu tree, because every place you call, it always says, hey, our menu items have changed. Listen closely. My father died a few years ago, but I had to call a few times to the funeral home where we took him to be cremated. And, of course, they don't do the cremation there. It goes off somewhere else, and then they bring him back there. And their menu tree said the same thing. We're please listen closely. Our items have changed. And I'm thinking,
how busy are you?
Do they really have that many repeat customers that people have memorized the menu tree?
That's horrible. I'm sorry, Bob.
I've never heard one of those where they haven't given that warning.
Exactly.
It's just
they're
default. Constantly
default.
changing them, I guess.
I don't think they do. I just think that they think that people are paying so much attention to their menu tree
that you off.
But everybody just keeps hitting zero. Representative.
Agent, help. Yeah.
Well, everybody, we have reached the top of the hour, and we are WHUP LP Hillsborough. The show is Pass the Hat. We are here every Friday from 6 to 8 p.m., and you can listen to the audio on WHUPFM.org, and all of our shows here at the station are archived for on-demand listening. But Bob, in addition to that, Pass the Hat is somewhat unique here at the station in that we do video.
That's right, we do. And Kim Lane is in the video right now.
You were asking me to pick up this box.
I was.
That's what I wasn't understanding.
And tell us all about the video.
Well, in addition to being a radio show during this hour of liveness from 6:30 to 7:30, we're also a television show, essentially. So we marry the high-definition audio with high-definition video, and we broadcast it out to your favorite streaming services, and your favorite streaming services are YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Facebook and Twitch keeps them for 2 weeks, so you can watch this one and last week's one, and that's about it. YouTube keeps the archive forever, so you can watch this one, and then at your leisure, when it's 115 degrees heat index next Wednesday, you just want to sit inside and watch some cool and listen to some cool music, you just go out to the YouTube page for Pass the Hat, which is at WHUP Pass the Hat, at WHUP Pass the Hat, and you can see this huge, wonderful archive of live and local musicians.
Probably well over 500, maybe 600, something like that.
What we around here call a mess. And speaking of messes, that was not a good segue.
We have an hour two sponsor. I think King has been very patiently trying to remind us.
Support for this second hour of Pass the Hat is sweetly provided by Matthews Chocolates, 104 North Churton Street, Hillsborough, North Carolina, the finest in chocolate and chocolate accessories for all of your chocolate needs. And let's face it, we all have
chocolate needs.
Every guest on Pass the Hat gets a gift of chocolate from Matthew. We don't know what's in the box, but we know that it's chocolate and it's awesome. And y'all, get down to Matthew's. It's going to be 115 degree heat index on Wednesday. He has the gelato to keep you cool and an amazing espresso machine, and he will make you an iced coffee that will just make you happy.
There you go. Thank
All right.
you, Matthew.
We are done paying the bills. That's your chocolate to take with you. Absolutely. You have to keep it.
You did say you were a bass player, though, and so if you could avoid eating the entire box on air, we have
a
a
challenge.
history of the bass players in the bands have finished off the box on air. We don't understand, but that's a thing.
I mean, we understand. It's good chocolate.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I will not. I promise.
Okay, thank you.
I will make that pledge.
But it is time for another song, if you have another song in you.
I do. You just mentioned YouTube keeping these forever. This song is called Forever. You mentioned the 115 heat index. This song is about climate change. It is a climate change love song. It's kind of about the silver lining of climate change.
Huh.
The bad side is that,
We're all going to die.
humanity is going to become extinct.
Yeah.
That seems bad. But the silver lining for me is that I've lost my fear of commitment. So this song is called Forever. Which is not how it goes. There it is. When I look into your eyes, I know it's forever. I used to be afraid to say that. I've overcome my fears. Yeah, thinking about forever no longer scares me. 'Cause I know forever is just a few more years. I used to wonder how we'd be as we got older. Would the flame go out of our love and freeze our happy home? Now I don't worry about anything cooling. My love for you is on fire like a Midwest heat dome. Climate is changing, and babe, so are we. Like the oceans, we're heating up and expanding. Forests are disappearing like the hair on my head. I love you, my darling, until everyone's dead. I used to worry about losing my memory, but who needs to remember after the end? Humanity. I love you until the stars stop their glowing. I'll always have this next dance with you cheek to cheek. I love you until the crops stop their growing. Even if that's after the end of next week. Climate is changing, and babe, so are we. Like the global average temperature, our age is rising. We'll have Exxon to thank when it's over. I always thought it'd be a nuclear warhead. Either way, I love you until everyone's dead. Yeah, I love you, my darling, until the whole world is dead.
Wonderful King Teen love song live here on the air.
King, you said earlier that you don't necessarily consider yourself a songwriter, but these are indeed songs. So walk us through, where do your songs come from? How do you bring them along? How do you know when they're finished?
Those are all good questions. They tend to come from more inspiration than perspiration. They're in the sense of I don't sit at 3 o'clock. It's time to work on songs. I'll sit down and with a guitar. It's usually like an idea will hit me. I'll hear a phrase. I'll see something on a sign, or something will just occur to me, and I'll write it down in my notes app. I'm really happy with the invention of smartphones because as a writer, I never had a pen or paper with me. My artist friends, if I was hanging out with my artist friends, I'd be able to write something down. But yeah, I'll just sort of collect these things, and at some point I'll just start. I sort of sing it over and over to myself until it starts forming itself into a song. And at some point I will sit down. It's like, okay, I've got a verse, or maybe I've got a chorus, or I've got enough that I can sit down and work with it. I can hear it in my head as a song. When I sit down with it with the guitar, I maybe can't play what I hear, or I maybe say like, that's too much like all these other songs that I've got, and so I'll throw in a minor third or something to get it different, or somehow change it. And that's kind of how it works. And how I know it's done, I don't always, but I tend not to be too much of a reviser. Like when I hit the end, I feel like I sort of know I've got it. I'll maybe like keep writing verses until I know I've got 3 or however many I need that are good, and then I might toss 4 of them. But I sort of know when it's like I like it all, and then I'll stop.
You said that you go out to good many open mics. Do you kind of gauge what people's reaction, or do you care about their reaction?
I don't care what people's reactions are, but if I get a vote on it, I want them to like it.
Do you ever workshop your songs with others, like go to, because sometimes these open mics turn into song circles. Does that ever happen for revision?
I've never done that. I've never really been able to. I've never really written with someone. I've sometimes, some of my songs have songwriter credits on them, or other people. Like I gave Wayne a songwriter credit on the song that he gave me the title to. I feel like if you give me the title, or if you're the one who said the thing that I made up the song about, sorry, Katie Raditz, I hadn't thought of this 30 years ago, I give you a songwriting credit. But yeah, I've never really done that workshop thing with other writers. I tried it with my friend Wayne. We tried to write together years ago, and we just didn't get anywhere.
Everybody, we are here enjoying our time tremendously with the King Teen, and you can follow King out there in all the usual places. King Teen Music. and website kingteenmusic.com.
And if you want to give him money for his music, because it's work.
Do it.
Even though he loves it, it's work. You can go to King Teen at Bandcamp.
The King Teen
at
dot
Bandcamp.
bandcamp.com.
Yes. So go, or go to one of his shows where you can get merch. You can give
T-shirts.
tips.
Didn't bring
yeah,
any
see?
T-shirts today.
And he'll get
Radio
real
show.
money.
He'll get real money, not
Folding
AI
money.
money.
Yeah.
That counterfeit stuff.
So
I do not accept Bitcoin. Sorry, folks.
I do.
If I ever get any, I'll give it to you.
let's go ahead. Let's
Should I
roll
play
into another one.
This one's on the record, Us Ugly Guys Got Style, which of course is available at the kingteen.bandcamp.com. I'll tell you how I made up this one. I look at free photographs a lot. I was making flyers and record covers and stuff. So public domain photos, Creative Commons, Library of Congress, and I happened to come across this beautiful shot of a desert motel sign, mostly sky, and it was called Thunderbird Motel. And the next time I was in my car on kind of a long drive, I just started singing this song to myself. And here it is, called Thunderbird Motel. Sometimes I live in heaven. Sometimes I live in hell. Sometimes I take a great notion to live at the Thunderbird Motel. Well, I live there with this supermodel. She was on the cover of Elle. She said before she stole my Yugo from the parking lot of the Thunderbird Motel. Well, I stayed there with this dude named Battling Max. I stayed there with this dude Isabel. I stayed there long enough to see some horrible things. And I'm alive because I never tell. Well, the AC is always broken, but the ice machine works pretty well. They got all the comforts of uncomfortable places at the Thunderbird Motel. You can stay there for a week. You can stay there for an hour. You can stay there till your final farewell. You'll never forget your first night or your last at the Thunderbird Motel. At the Thunderbird Motel. At the Thunderbird Motel. They got kitchenettes, cable TV, swimming pool, vacancy.
Was that a chain? There used to be a Thunderbird Motel in Asheville.
It might have been.
There
I
are
don't
many
know.
Thunderbird motels.
Okay,
I've
so
since
it was-
found out, and in fact, Eric Summer played guitar on that song also, on my record.
Excellent.
Shortly after recording this song, I was going through old family photographs. My dad also passed away recently, and so
Sorry.
I had some old photos that I was going through, and I found a photo of my mom in 1968 standing in the parking lot of the Thunderbird Motel in Las Vegas. It was a big old motel. It was like a hotel. It was
Big
like 4
Vegas
stories.
motel.
It was a big Vegas hotel with like a line of taxis and everything, and she was in Thunderbird Motel. I had no idea. And it was kind of a cool coincidence. So she made her
nice.
68 comeback in Vegas, I guess. So.
Very cool.
So, I have a question.
Sir.
I'm not sure how to ask it in a way that doesn't sound pejorative, and I don't mean it that way at all because I like your music. I think you got a great sense of humor.
Thank you.
And very good observation, which a songwriter needs to have.
Thank you.
So why do you do this?
Why do I do it?
Yeah.
I just like it. I don't know. I've always, not always, but at some point in my life as a teenager, I got interested in music. And I'll tell you when it was, when I heard the Sex Pistols. It's kind of, that's my cliched story. There's generations of rock stars. I saw Elvis on TV, and then I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. And, my story is like that was, I was in middle school. I didn't care about music that much. Everybody was listening to like Foreigner and Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith, and it didn't do much for me, or disco. I was like, it was fine. It didn't do anything. And then a friend of mine who had an older brother had the Sex Pistols record.
Never mind the Bollocks.
Yeah, Never Mind the Bollocks. Yep. And he lent it to me, and I was like, oh, I like music. And from that point on, I just became completely, sort of enmeshed in the punk music, and buying these import records, and when the Clash came out.
Were you raised in California?
Yeah, I grew up in L.A.
Okay, so when you said that, when you heard the Sex Pistols, because around here, I was raised in the mountains of North Carolina, you don't hear that on the radio, but maybe in L.A.
Oh, it wasn't on the radio.
Oh, it wasn't on the radio, okay.
But it was the L.A. Times music critic. We got the L.A. Times at our house, and the L.A. Times music critic was very progressive, and he wrote about the Sex Pistols when, like in those days, mainstream newspapers just never wrote about that stuff. And so I followed their famous tour across the United States. I read about it. They published, he wasn't with them, but because of his influence, I'm sure they published like the AP stories about them. And so I was kind of lucky to have that sort of entree, and he covered the LA punk scene as well, and so
I was lucky growing up in Chapel Hill with a student radio station that was apparently sheer anarchy back in the day, and the students ran everything, and so they played the Sex Pistols, and that was my introduction just by listening to radio as a teenager then.
Yeah.
But I think King, you bring up a really interesting point, and that is, for those of us of a certain generation, say Gen X, say baby boomers, and even older millennials, it was work to discover music that was not on the radio. Like if you knew about music that was outside of those parameters, you were either raised in it, like I was raised with old time. I heard a bunch of that, bluegrass. But I didn't get to discover punk until I had friends in high school who we did the record exchanges and all of that.
That's right.
It was work.
The corporatization of radio kind of really happened in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
And that became the homogenization then of all music you could hear.
Yep.
And you couldn't hear anything new and different unless you worked at it.
Yep. Or had access like you did to a college radio station.
Was fortunate.
Yeah. So that's a really cool. I love that the Sex Pistols were your entree.
That's kind of a cool thing I got.
That is awesome.
That story is.
And speaking of corporate radio, we are not.
Which means that the King Teen is going to play another non-corporate song for us.
Indeed. Do I have time for more than one song?
Yes, you do.
I think you've got time for 2, maybe 3 songs.
Okay. I have one that I want to be my last song. That's what I'm saying.
Plan accordingly.
All right. So this is a song off the record. This is a power pop song. This is one that if I knew how to do this, I would send it to like Nick Lowe or something. Inspired by a bar that I used to hang out in San Francisco. William Saroyan, Thelonious Monk, and I used to hang out. Not at this bar, not at the same time. It's called Specs Adler Alley, and there are postcards on the bar. People send postcards to the bar when they travel, and there was this one guy who, for decades, sent postcards back where he was chasing the American dream, and they were very funny postcards. And the dream would be personified. So I saw the dream ducking around a corner on Michigan Avenue, and the postcards often ended with the phrase "dream not found." He would tell a little story and say "dream not found," and I always had that title. And fairly recently, I put it into a song, and here it is. I didn't find it in Virginia. I didn't find it in Tennessee. I thought I had it in New Mexico, but it wasn't what it seemed. They told me about the great Northwest. I couldn't see it for the trees. I've been throwing rods and blowing gaskets, chasing the dream. I heard it ringing out in Philly. I couldn't get there fast enough. Picked up the trail in Memphis, but it walked on up the bluff. I've gone Amtrak, Greyhound, microbus. I've surfed the wild jet stream. I've walked the diamond deserts, chasing the dream. I'll holler if I find it. I'll say something profound. Until then, I'll sign my postcards. Dream not found. Dream not found. I met a one-eyed man playing 5-card stud in 3 Rivers, California. He said the dream takes 2 for every one it gives. That's a little warning for ya. But it's a lump of coal at the end of the rainbow, no matter how it gleams. It's one long game of 3-card money, chasing the dream. But I'll call you if I find it, and I'll be homeward bound. Until then, I'll end our FaceTimes. Dream, dream, dream. Dream not found. Dream not found. Dream not found. Dream not found.
King Teen live here in the studio, and was that a very brief homage to the Everly Brothers? I
There
heard
was.
Good job.
There was. I like to sort of put little. I don't know what you call that. Little references. That song had references to the Everly Brothers, to Big River by Johnny Cash, to This Land Is Your Land. Those are all hidden in there.
Well, we might, if you jumped in right now, have 2 more in us.
Okay, let's do that. Because why not?
I mean, unless one of them is like American Pie.
No,
Goes for
all
11
my
minutes.
songs are pretty short. I have a short attention span, and this is another one on the record, and it's another one that's my autobiography.
All right.
It's called Mediocre Man. Tell 'em you can do it, and then fake your way right through it. Tell them they should pay you more than they say they can. Stand up tall and steady, know you're more than ready. Always have the confidence of a mediocre man. Every idea that you got, oh man, it's genius on the spot. Don't bother to find out if it's really yours or not. Be an action movie fan, solve the problems with Iran. Do it with the confidence of a mediocre man. Mediocrity, it doesn't have to be a bad word. That's what I've heard. Take it easy with all that trying. You don't need it, brother. I ain't lying. Just fall out of bed and get ahead. You're a mediocre man. Watch this. be a bad word. Hey, that's what I heard. Take it easy with all that trying. You don't need it, buddy. I ain't lying. Just fall out of bed and get ahead. You're a mediocre man. Just fall out of bed and get ahead. You're a mediocre.
I'm a public school teacher, and I've just found my first song for the first day of school. Welcome, children. Listen.
Y'all have been listening to The King Teen live here on Pass the Hat. Learn more at King Teen Music on all of your various social medias. But don't go away. There's one more song.
There it is. This is a song about all the things that I think make life worth living. And it's a very short song. And I actually thought of that joke as a way to introduce the song, and then I said, well, I need to make up the song. And I accidentally made the song kind of heartfelt. So here it is. It's called What Makes Life Worth It. It's on the record, and don't have this here today, but Mimi Kramer, a great singer from the band Super Mutt, sang harmony on this with me, and so it sounds way better on the record than it's just about to sound right now. Deep discussions with toddlers and shallow ones in bars. And when your nieces and nephews haven't learned you're a jerk, friends who stand by you when you really don't deserve it, on a hot summer night when you don't have to work. Finding a 20 in an old jacket pocket, and new guitar strings and pizza and you. Yeah, that's it. That's my list. What makes life worth it? And I may have forgotten a couple of things. Oh yeah, stray cats that let you pet them. Malamars if you can get them. And when the band stops playing and the audience sings, when your head hits the pillow and you're already dreaming, and laughter and moonlight and you. Yeah, there's just a few things that make my life worth it, like laughter and moonlight and you.
You have been listening to The King Teen here on Pass the Hat. It has been a pleasure listening to you this
you so
evening.
much.
Thank
It's been
you.
very fun.
But you're not going away.
What?
And listeners, you're not going away. We are going to, if you could, wave goodbye to the camera. We're going to turn off the live stream, but don't go away. Just go over to www.whupfm.org or tune in to WHUP-FM on TuneIn or on Radio Garden. Go find us on the map, and you can continue listening to the show in all of those places. Bob, hit the button.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, it's just us now. They're gone. All right, so we can